Wonderful. Thank you. Well, I want to welcome everyone and so grateful to have you express an interest in mindful meditation. I'm Michelle Pola. I have been practicing meditation since 2014. And I do want to say that mindful meditation is one type of meditation, just like sports arena has tennis, soccer, football, baseball, all the different sports. Meditation is similar. There are various types, and the type I practice and teach is mindfulness. It does interact with all faiths and wisdoms and traditions. It is based out of the Buddhist practice, but is taught very much in a secular aspect. So I want to thank you, and what I hope to do in this short period of time is pique your interest, and that you continue to explore, have an openness, a curiosity, and check it out. I'm grateful I started practicing, and I certainly, although I don't live with regrets, do wish I had learned to practice much earlier in my career. So the definition of mindfulness is about being present in the moment, recognizing what is happening with openness, curiosity, and a kindness, and without judgment. And so I share the definition because one of the things that I want to say that we've learned through research and science around meditation and mindfulness is that the gift we have of our mind, which is like a muscle, is an incredible gift. It gets us where we are. Those of us that are successful, we have our careers, we get up every day, we're able to function, we survive. It is also this muscle that just drifts. And if you're like me and willing to admit it, you've probably read a page in a book and then completely forgotten what you were reading. Or you've even driven and gone from point A to point B and not noticed a thing of how you got there. Basically, your mind has gone on autopilot. It has taken off and gone other places. You're not even noticing it. So one of the studies done in 2010 out of Harvard showed and proved that scientists believe our minds drift about almost 50% of the time. In other words, in the course of 8 minutes, your mind will drift about 4 minutes. There'll be something that triggers and your mind will just go off down a story and a path. And there are a couple places your mind goes. Goes to the past, what you didn't do, what you wished you'd done, regrets you may have had, memories of good things, bad things. Just start to notice if your mind goes to the past or it goes to the future. What am I going to do next? And how much do I need to do? What am I going to do after this conference? What am I preparing for dinner? How many emails are waiting for me? Who's meeting with who? What are other people doing during this time? And we miss the present. It also judges. So there's a lot of judgment that goes on in the mind. Many times it's self-judging, self-criticism, or it's comparing, saying, oh, I wish I had done this, or I wish I had that. What if? Start paying attention and just be curious. Notice when your mind drifts and how it gets away from you and where you are of the present moment. The 2010 Harvard study not only showed that people's minds drifted about 50% of the time, but it also reflected that when people are not in the present moment, they are less happy. In other words, when we're not here with what's happening, we're thinking about where we'd rather be or what we need to do, and we're missing the moment, and we tend to be less happy. So those who can be in the present tend to be happier, such as the sense of mindfulness. Additionally, I want to say that the practice has been shown to improve the quality of attention and focus. So if you've ever had to write a report, create a design, and if you're drifting, you're not really in the moment. You're not paying attention. So there is a benefit of training the mind to focus and pay attention. It is also known to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. An area that is of great interest to me is it is known to increase the gray matter. So people who meditate formally, which is what we're going to move into in a minute, have been known to have more gray matter in their brain as a result of the practice of meditation. So those are some of the reasons I practice, and I've learned how it's helped me and seen it. So if you're willing to join me now, I invite you to find a seat, and if you want to be standing, you're welcome to stand. Main thing is that your feet are touching the floor. Your body is supported either with your feet on the floor or a chair that you might be sitting in. The back is straight. The intent is so that your body can rest and not have to work. And the body is an incredible gift. It's the one thing we have. And so just find the seat and notice your shoulders. You might let them drift down your back. Maybe a lot of stress, tightness, tension. And there's no real effort right now. You're just breathing naturally, which the body knows to do. And so now what I'd like you to do with me is we're going to do a deep breathing exercise as a starting point. And the way I'm going to ask you to breathe, if you're willing to try it, is you're going to inhale deeply through your nostrils, filling the chest and the belly to a count of 4. You're going to hold your breath for 2, and then you're going to exhale through your mouth as if you were blowing through a straw for a count of 6. So I'd like you now to just notice your body, exhale the air out, and begin to inhale through your nostrils to a count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale through your mouth slowly. Inhale. Hold. Exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale nostrils. Hold. Exhale mouth. Inhale nostrils. Hold. Exhale mouth. Now breathing naturally through your nostrils, just noticing the breath entering, filling your chest, maybe the belly, and exhaling. Notice if the mind has drifted and thinking, worrying, planning. Label the thought, thinking, and return to following the breath. Just noticing the breath, being open, curious, feeling the breath as it enters the nostrils, filling the chest and the belly rising, and then falling as you exhale through your nostrils. Just breathing in and breathing out. The breath is always present. It can bring you back to the moment. When the mind drifts, as it does, you can return to following the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Slowing down, listening, observing, and wondering in the moment. practice of exercising the muscle of the mind to be present in this moment, just one breath at a time. Mind might be busy, jumping, thinking, worrying, past, future. Notice the thought, maybe label it, shelf it, deal with it later. This is the time for focusing, following the breath as an anchor, holding you in the present moment again and again. There's no bad practice, no good practice. There's just practice. The mind drifts. It's a habit. Again and again. And if the breath no longer holds your attention, another anchor of the present is sound, possibly internal sounds from the body, intestines working, heart beating, pulsing, or external sounds, nature, clock, ticking, noise, breeze, traffic. Sounds are always present. There's no need to seek, no need to search, and there's nothing to do. They just are there and then gone, moment to moment. Again, exercising the muscle of the mind while the body rests. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Simply being in this moment, finding clarity, awareness, presence. And if the sound doesn't hold your attention and the mind is busy, you can return to the breath, maybe counting each breath. Inhale, exhale as one. Inhale, exhale as two. And count to 10. And start again. If the mind drifts, as it will, just start again and again. That's the practice. Another anchor to try is body sensations. Noticing the sensations in the body. Maybe taking your attention to your feet, the toes, the balls of the foot, arch, heels. Noticing the weight, light, heavy, or the temperature, warm, moist, cool. Just being curious. Also possible to notice the hands, twitching, moist, cool, warm. Body sensations are also present. The anchors of breath, sound, and body serve as a way of holding you steady in the moment, fully awake and aware. Thoughts may come, practices to notice and return again and again. No judging, just being curious. How did that happen? And come back to the anchor that holds your attention. Breathing in through the nostrils, maybe feeling the air as it enters. the nostrils or expansion of the chest or possibly the belly. And the exhale. Notice how the body feels. Notice if the mind has drifted. And simply notice. Maybe label thinking. Possibly smile. And return to the anchor. The breath, breathing in and breathing out. Sound of breeze or body sensations, keeping you present as the mind is exercised again and again. It's a practice. And when you're ready, take a breath and join me. Just a little bit about when we started in the deep breathing. What we were doing is activating the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body. It starts at the back of your skull all the way to your tailbone. It encompasses the intestines, the organs around the inner torso. And when we breathe like that, what we're doing is taking the body into what's, I would say, formally called the rest and digest. And so what we've done is calmed the mind and calmed the body. And when the mind is calm, the body feels safe and it will rest. If you're like me, you've probably had evenings where you've not been able to sleep well. You're exhausted and you get into bed and all of a sudden the mind starts working. It's creating the list. It's thinking of all the things you didn't get done, the things you need to do tomorrow. A practice that can help with mindfulness is doing that breathing exercise. Deep breathing in through the nostrils, holding the breath and exhaling through your mouth. And the reality of why that works is that you would never do that if your life was in danger. In other words, when we get activated, if you've ever been in close to a car accident and you react and something happens, your body tenses and you almost hold your breath. So when you're breathing and exhaling and holding the breath and deep breathing, your body is allowed to rest and your mind can calm down, takes you out of that activation. Today, unfortunately, we know that the stress level and anxiety has increased immensely due to social media, due to the news, politics, whatever it may be. Life continues to happen. And how we learn to notice our thoughts, especially when they take us out of the moment and take us into worry, take us into planning and thinking, dealing with things that we can't control right now, whether it's the weather, could be the traffic that we're driving in. One of the tools of mindfulness is the ability to come back to the present moment and be fully aware of what's happening around you. And when you can take those breaths, and sometimes it's 3 deep breaths like I modeled. With a lot of practice, it can be shorter breaths and it can just be, wow, that just triggered me. I got an email from somebody and now I'm activated. I'm ready to fight, freeze, or run. And by breathing and getting in the present moment and noticing, wow, I can now think a little more clearly. I don't need to react. I can be skillful in my response and what I want to say and how I want to say it. So at Mindful Being Houston, we teach a lot of courses related to the basics of mindfulness, as well as the originating course that brought mindfulness into the realm of international awareness, with over 25 million Americans now practicing mindfulness in sports arena, medical, The military uses it. Educators are using it. It's in the corporate world of mindful speech, being aware, noticing your thoughts, questioning the thoughts, learning how to calm yourself in a way that is gets you back to the moment versus going into this fight, freeze, or flight mode, which is part of our survival. So I want to check in with Jody and see if there's any questions related to this practice, and appreciate the opportunity to share, and look forward to anyone joining again later today.